So we just saw all those personalities, all those faces. How will it all work out with everyone together like that in Cleveland?
Well, I like what I'm hearing from the head coach because it's going to start with the head coach and it's going to start with the culture that he builds there with those guys. He said, whoop the hell, we look good on paper right now, which is true. They look good on paper. And we've seen a lot of great teams, a lot of great players come together, but they're not a team, right? And so, to me, this is about legacy. This is an opportunity for Odell and the rest of the team to do something special that has never been done in Cleveland. This is the best team on paper that Cleveland Browns has ever had.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually ran into Odell a couple days ago at a restaurant, and we had a conversation.
Here,
in,
right?
Here in Los Angeles. And I said to him, this reminds me of my first year in New Orleans, going to that city post-Katrina. Now, I know this is a little different situation, but the significance of it, because I don't know if there's a more dedicated fan base than the Cleveland Browns, right? They have been starving for wins. We're not talking about playoffs. They've been starving for wins down there. And so now he has an opportunity to really revive this city, right? Much like Baker did when he stepped in last year. He revived that stadium. I was at that game. It was just a different feeling. You could feel the electricity. They have that ability right now as a team.
Well,
so
you were at the Thursday night.
At the Thursday night football game. Yeah, sorry, Thursday night football game. Yeah, at the Jets game.
Right.
And so this has that same significance because they have something special in front of them, and they have the ability. You win a Super Bowl in Cleveland, you don't have to pay for food, drinks, hotel, nothing for the rest of your life. Because winning the Super Bowl in Cleveland is a lot different than winning the Super Bowl for the New York Giants. Sorry. Been there, done that before with the Giants. Cleveland, they've never done it before. And so everybody's going to have to be unselfish. Not just Odell, not just Jarvis Landry, because there is only one football on the field. And I thought you made a great point because you said that Odell, he can play offense, but he can't go play defense too, right? And so now this is where your leadership has to shine because when you are down at halftime and you have to fight, kick, claw, scratch against the Baltimore Ravens, a divisional opponent who's seen you twice, or the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are still a good football team with a good coach, this is where your leadership is going to have to really shine because, like you said, you can't play defense, right? So you need to elevate the players around you. You got to make guys around you. And that, to me, that's where legacy really shines, is with guys who are, have the ability to make players around them better.
Okay, gut feeling, will this work?
I think it will work, yes. I think it will work because of all the pieces around him. They have the energy that Odell needs. No offense to Eli Manning, but Baker Mayfield, he plays the game differently than Eli does right now. Odell needs that energy, right? He needs the energy of the youthfulness of that football team. And so I think it will work, but the only way this works is if they are all unselfish. That's the only way this works.
That's not been a word that anybody ever used to describe Odell Beckham Jr., right?
You're right. Probably not.
Right.
But he's never been to Cleveland, too.
I want to love this so much. In all my years of watching press conferences, I don't think I've ever seen one quite like this. We've been digging out from under it for this whole show, and every time I excavate another nugget, I say, they said that? Somebody said something. Odell intrigues me because he doesn't like doing media sessions solo. He can be egomaniacal. We all know that. But he likes to have some backup. You know, he likes to be reinforced by Jarvis and Baker. And I don't know what Myles Garrett was doing. Did he even speak? I haven't seen a quote.
He was there for moral support. Just for moral support. That's all.
Does he deserve to be? Yeah, he deserves in his star power, his position. I got you. But in the end, it still comes across to me that Odell is trying to talk himself into loving this situation. Everything was like, I'm trying to speak this into existence, to quote LeVar Ball, but he used that quote.
Right.
And then he went so far as to say, we're all going to look back on, what's today? Oh, it's April 1st, 2019. This is going to be an iconic moment. It's going to, greatness started today. And ironically, it was on April Fool's Day. So is it going to be an April Fool's joke? Because I'm with Freddie.
I can see the memes now.
I know.
I know. But on paper, it's sensational. They got the best receiving core in football with Njoku on top of that.
Right.
And other. It's
Higgins
deep,
and Callaway.
It's deep. Callaway can fly, man. Little Callaway. They stole him in the draft because he's got his off-field issues, right?
Run game.
Whew.
And run game is
Nick
looking
Chubb,
good.
I know.
Chubb and Kareem Hunt comes back in week 9.
Yep.
Duke Johnson, they still got Duke Johnson.
But Duke now
Duke's
he wants
upset. He wants out.
Okay, but that's
Yeah, we can see
typical.
that.
Okay.
Understandable.
And Ogba already wanted out and got out, right? He talked his way out of town. But still, on paper, the offense, because Baker Mayfield's going to be really good to potentially being great in this league. I loved him before the draft. We went back and forth about it. But his energy equals their energy.
Yeah.
And they're going to love this if, to your point, you just have one football. And I don't know that Odell's ever going to be truly happy if he catches 2 passes and they win by 21. I don't know.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
And I agree with you 100%. But you can be just as effective without the football as you can with the football. And so that's where the unselfish side has to come in, because I know what Odell, the receiver, can do. I want to see what Odell, the run game blocker, can do, right?
Well, what have you seen after 5 years? Have you seen that side of him?
I've seen spots of it. I haven't seen it totally throughout a season, but also this is a new team. This is a new opportunity. This is something that he has not experienced before, right? He's going to an organization that needs him. He's going to a city that needs him. And so the feeling of it is different. And again, I know what Odell, the receiver, can do. Right, I want to see what Odell, the pass blocker, not the pass blocker, the run game blocker, I want to see what Odell, the leader, can do when he does not have the football in his hands.
But see, here's where I give you the pushback at, is because what receivers have identified is that my value is tied into catching. I need 100 yards, I need 2 touchdowns. Then I'm valuable.
Yeah.
If I catch 3 passes, I get a key block that springs a gap. You don't notice that.
Yep.
Only the guy that's in the meeting room, the coaches notice that.
Yep.
But that's not what the media notices. That's not what the fans notice, especially when Julio went for 10 for $185 and 2 touchdowns. And D-Hop, we haven't seen the leadership from Odell. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, he can be a great leader. Okay, when? When am I going to see Odell be the great leader? Now, I'll give you this about his legacy. Oh, he can change the perception of how he's viewed if he goes there and do what you say he could possibly do. Yeah, if he goes in there, leads this team, I don't want to see no slinging, no catch no 2 passes, skip, and he all this and all that, because it's coming. It's in it. It's hard to get that out. It's hard to get that out after 1 year. So I'm anxious to see how this thing, on paper, like Freddie said, that's straight Southern. That's straight some part of Alabama. That's some part of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. That's somewhere one of those areas, Skip. But you got a core group of receivers that can play with anyone. You got a strong running game. You see what you do in the draft. But Skip, they have the makings. Makings don't do anything. You don't win not one game in March. You don't win one game in April. Now, you start that process, you start laying those bricks towards that foundation. See how it goes in OTAs and your mini camp, and then you're going to have the draft, you have your training camp, and then it starts to come together. You'll have a pretty good idea. Can Odell, if he's not the leading receiver every game, can he be content and find a way to influence the game even without the ball in his hands? Because that's what the great ones could do. They pulled the double team, and now Higgins and Jarvis are running scot-free. You can't always get 12 catches a game, and he's going to have to understand that his value is tied to other things other than just catching the football.
Okay.
I would agree.
So, to your first point, I loved what Freddie Kitchens said. Now we got to come together and do this as a football team.
Right.
Freddie Kitchens is in his first head coach. Freddie Kitchens had never even been an offensive coordinator until mid-last season, and he got thrown into that fire. And Baker and the receivers tend to treat him like he's kind of their funny big brother, like older brother, but he's kind of goofy, but they kind of laugh with him. Well, now he's in charge. I think he's in charge. Now he has to say no to somebody because there is only one football. Can the buck stop with him?
Yeah, because it's different. It's different being an OC and a head coach. Because, you can joke with an OC. You can joke with a DC. But all of a sudden, he become the big boss. You can't be kiki joking with him like you could when he was the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. And you have to but you just that's Freddie. Freddie was just because remember, Skip, Charles Haley said, I forget who was the D coordinator that became head coach after Coach Walsh stepped down?
Seifert.
George Seifert. He said he could joke with George.
Yeah.
George became head coach. He didn't want to be joking with Charles Haley. Charles said he changed. Yeah, Charles, he had to change. He couldn't let you joke with him. And so it ended up ruining a relationship between those two. That's the thing. Can they look at Freddie now as like, okay, he's the head coach. We can't be joking and teasing with him like he's just one of the guys.
Well, let me ask you this question. Is the ownership more on the head coach, on the coaches? Because now you got the pieces, right? Now there are no excuses, right? So does this fall more on the coach's shoulders to create the environment that's such that they understand that this has to be business first with the head coach?
Yeah, we serious now.
He's in a tough spot.
More pressure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, more pressure, right?
It's hard. It's hard. It's like when you let your kid do whatever he wants, and the moment you tell him no, or you try to discipline, then he like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now you've been letting me do this all this time, and now all of a sudden, well, I just it's a lot easier to be tough and to pull back than it is to be easy and then try to toughen up.
So at the league meetings, Freddie Kitchens was asked, what are you going to say to Odell when you first meet him? And he said, I'm going to say I love you. And yesterday he said, when asked what was the first thing you said to Odell, he said, I told him I loved him. Okay, so will you love him in September and October? I don't know. No, seriously. Right?
Yeah.